everybody, it's Imani again. Welcome back to my channel. I don't even know why I try to be cool. Anyways, I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. I actually just wanted to jump on here because I hadn't done my makeup today. I've just been working all day. It's super late in the day, to be honest with you guys. Like literally it's 4:14 right now. But it's so late. But yeah, I realized I hadn't done my makeup today. I've just been working, I've been at the computer all morning, and for some reason I just want to feel good about myself. And every time I do my makeup, I feel good about myself. Like you go from drab to fab with a couple of products real quick. I just decided to turn on the camera and film it. So I'm just gonna do kind of my everyday makeup routine right now. So in a way, you guys are gonna kind of be getting ready with me, yet not really, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, you're getting ready with me to go completely nowhere. I'm literally just doing my makeup to be at home. But it's okay because it comes off at the end of the night, so we don't have to worry about it. Now, analyzing my skin. She's not the worst she's ever been. Is she the best she's ever been? I'm reluctant to answer that question. But yeah, my skin could use a little pick-me-up. I did already wash my face, and I always use like a toner or an astringent to just add a little extra deep pore cleansing. So I went ahead and did that already. And I also added my Cetaphil moisturizer that I showed you guys in one of my last videos. Still using that, still love it. Mwah, chef's kiss. I'm not a big primer gal for some reason. I don't know. I've just never loved primer. I've never really used it very much. I've tried it, but I've never really noticed it do much for me. And that's probably just because I haven't really cared that much about primer. I'm more so just focused on like the products. And I feel like if you have a good product, it should perform pretty well on its own. No offense to people who like use primer and love primer. I'm just not a big primer gal. But I do sometimes like to go in with a primer water. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm actually just going to be using my NYX Bare With Me primer water. This is the Prime Set and Refresh multitasking spray. So it really helps to help, I can't talk today. It really helps to hold your makeup in place all day. Exactly what it says. Primes your face, sets, refreshes. You can spray it before, you can spray it after, whatever. So I'm just gonna be using some of that. Never get used to sprays, I'm telling you. So now I'm actually just going to be jumping into my brows. The very first thing I like to do for my brows is actually go in with a brow gel. I really like to do it before now because I feel like it really gives me some structure and it gives me an idea of how I want my brow shape to come out at the end. So I think it's kind of smart to do it before. Plus the brow gel that I'm using sets really fast and it holds them really well in place. So I feel like it works out. You know what I mean? I moved my mirror really high up today, so I'm not looking so far down that you guys can't see my face. It's right in front of me. So I'm gonna try to do my best in letting you guys see. I'm using the Makeup by Mario brow gel. This is in clear. This is like straight up glue. I love this stuff. It has the best hold. So I pretty much just brush that through my brows. I go upward and over. So I like to go pretty much in the natural direction they grow, but I like to stand them a little bit more up to make them look a little more bushy because my brows are weird. They kind of like to go straight one way. I want them to be what I want them to be, okay? Then I will just take my finger, kind of press into them to push that gel in just to really set them down because I feel like that just, it really adds like that extra little push to them. Going in on the other side. So they pretty much come out looking like this. So you can see they're just really set in place and you know, my natural shape is more defined. So I can have a better canvas on how to map them out later on. I'm really not good at explaining things and I've come to realize that since starting YouTube. I'm sorry guys, still learning the ropes. Now, while those are setting and while those dry, I'm actually going to jump into my concealer. Sorry, my packaging's really dirty because I've had this for a while. This is the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer. I am using the shade Medium Golden. And I like the shade because it has a very like peachy beigey undertone, and I like that for my under eyes because it helps to cancel out some of the bluer purple tones I have under there and also the darkness for my freckles. So I'm always trying to go with the concealer with that tone. And I add like the tiniest amount just in the corners and at the end. I know that TikTok trend that everybody's doing now. Look at me hopping on the bandwagon. And then what I also like to do is add some above my lip here because I realize around my mouth, especially above my lip, it gets a lot of darkness. And then also I realize since I'm eating and talking and doing all these things throughout the day, it always ends up wearing off first. And why not? Let's just conceal this little, maybe on this side too. We have a bunch of friends today. Almost that time of the month, what can you do? I'm just using my Same Real Techniques concealer brush, and I really don't know if that's what this brush is called, but I use it as a concealer brush, so I'm just gonna go with concealer brush, you know? The name seems fitting. I'm just gonna be taking this Wet n Wild Bare Focus powder, and I'm using this to set underneath my eye. So I'm just kind of tapping in. So this is what that is looking like. So now we're gonna go in with our foundation. I'm sure you guys know at this point by watching my videos, I am a powder foundation queen. I love powder foundation. And recently, I've actually discovered a new one that I have been loving. And no, it's not the e.l.f. foundation. I'm still loving that, but I still have not found my perfect shade in that one. Right now, I'm still using 280N. And then recently, I placed an order for 250N because honestly, on the swatches of the foundation, it looks different than what you actually get. Some brands with foundation, the shade after can be lighter than the shade before or darker than a shade. It just gets confusing, and that's exactly how this line is. So I just have not found my perfect shade, and I may not have a perfect shade in that foundation, so I'm still working on that. But nevertheless, I still love it. It's still a really good powder. Recently, I have discovered this Laura Gellar Double Take Baked Foundation. Now, let me tell you guys, this is in no way a new foundation. This foundation has been out for years. For some reason, I have never tried it until now, and it is so good. It has become one of my absolute favorite powder foundations in the entire world, and I'm so upset that I didn't discover it sooner because I don't know what I was ever doing before it. I'll just read to you guys what it says on the back before applying it. That way you guys can kind of have an idea of what to expect. Baked Double Take. Our long-wearing baked powder foundation delivers around-the-clock full coverage and a breathable finish. Baked on terracotta tiles for 24 hours and hand-finished by Italian artisans. The blend of special silicones and spherical powders allows for maximum movement and facial expression without cracking or fading. This weightless yet creamy foundation works and plays as hard as you do. Apply dry for medium to buildable coverage. Apply wet for more serious coverage and finish. Now, I'm not gonna be wetting this foundation. Apparently you can use it wet or dry, but I'm just gonna use it as a powder like it is. I don't have any interest in wetting it. It has done really, really well with just being dry. It provides amazing coverage just by itself without having to do any extra steps. Did I even say what color I'm using? Sorry. I'm actually using the color medium. I remember back in the day when Laura Gellar was in Ulta, and it was always like a forbidden brand for me. Like, I felt like I could never afford it. It was always so expensive, but I really, really loved her products. I think the first thing I ever heard about was like her gelato swirl highlighters. Those are so beautiful. I believe everyone's favorite color was Gilded Honey, and to this day, I have never owned that shade, and I've always wanted it. It's so pretty. The shade range for this foundation is limited. I think there's only like 6 shades of this. There is a porcelain, fair, light, medium, which is what I'm using. There's a medium tan, which I also want to get my hands on. There is tan and then deep. Okay, so seven shades. So yeah, not very many shades in this foundation, but I think the shades are very forgiving. There's still no excuse. There should be a lot more shades. What I like to do with this foundation is I actually take the little but the little sponge that it comes with. I will just swirl, and Laura wasn't lying when she said this foundation is creamy. It is so creamy. The crazy part is this is actually infused with coconut oil. No, at first I didn't know about that. I was a little bit taken aback. How is there coconut oil in this powder? That's interesting how they did that, but I guess it's like dipped in it or something. But it adds a really beautiful finish to your face. It's a very hydrating look. At first I was very nervous about putting coconut oil on my face because I was just like, this could either be really good or really, really bad. But let's be honest, I've made worse decisions in my life. So I figured let's just try it. So I like to take the little sponge that it comes with. I will swirl into the powder like so, and I actually just focus that in my problem areas first, like the top of my cheeks. And look how well this covers, you guys. It really does a good job right off the bat. After I've kind of laid down a little canvas, I will then take my Eco Tools flat top brush and I will just kind of swirl it into my skin just to make sure that I've covered all areas. And then what I do is I go back into the powder with the brush and I go back over any areas that I feel like I still need some coverage. And look how well it covers. That's a really pretty finish. Like, it doesn't even really look like powder. It really does look like you're applying like a cream foundation or like a liquid foundation. It's very, very beautiful. I'm just going over all of our little friends here because they are here to play. And I'm not. Just putting the tiniest amount on my 5 head and blending a little bit down the neck. Okay, so this is what that powder is looking like on my skin. So you guys can see. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. Every time I do this, I feel like I never have good enough lighting because I'm always filming like right in the middle of it getting darker in the day. I need to like film earlier videos, you guys. I'm sorry. Another thing I will work on, I promise. So I really like the way this looks. Let's continue. So now I'm gonna be going in with my Tarte Clay Play Volume 2 palette. I'm actually gonna be using the shade Sand and Instinct to brighten under my eyes. Just taking this Equate Tools brush and I'm dipping into those shades. And the reason I use both is because I don't want my under eyes too bright with Sand because it is quite a bit brighter than Instinct. I just mix Instinct to tone it down just a little bit. Like I still want it bright like it is, but I also don't want it too bright. So I just add a little bit of Instinct to calm that down a little bit. I'm so good at explaining stuff. And if I see any areas that I still want a little bit more coverage on, I will actually take that concealer brush from earlier, dip back into the Laura Gellar Double Taked Bake Powder, and I'll just pat over the top of whatever area I notice, like here and here. For bronzer, I'm actually going to be using another powder foundation. This is the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder, and I am using the shade Tan 40. So I'm taking my big Real Techniques blush brush, and I just like to pop that on my cheeks. I really like this brush because it really diffuses that bronzer, and it just makes it look very soft. One of my all-time favorite parts is blush. I am such a blush crazed person. Like I am a blush fanatic. I love blush. I cannot complete any look without blush. And recently I have been in love with this Heaven's Glow blush by M Cosmetics. This is in the shade Faded Clementine. This is kind of like a, how do I explain it? Like it's almost like a peachy orangey blush, but it has almost like a gold reflect to it. So it's like a glowy blush. It's very pretty, but it's not too much. So I really have been enjoying it. I am just dipping into that and I am putting that all over my cheeks. Such a pretty color, and I feel like it complements like tan skin really well. Of course it'll look pretty on anybody, but you know. And I always add like an overboard amount of blush because I swear blush fades from my face throughout the day. It's always like the first thing to fade. I don't know why, like everything else is on, but my blush always disappears. So I always have to make sure I put on extra at the beginning of the day so that at least I still have some left by the end. Boom. I am just quickly taking some of that Sephora Micro Smooth Powder again. I'm going to take a little Morphe M504 brush and I'm just dipping back into there and I'm just carving out my nose a little bit. I'm not huge on nose contouring, but some days I do like it and I feel like it does look really good sometimes. And I'm just throwing a tiny bit underneath here in my crease. So this is what the base is looking like so far. You can see it's not overboard, it's very natural for every day, and it always just makes me feel and look my best. I just love the way this powder foundation makes my skin look. It looks very healthy. Yeah, I've been obsessed with it. Now I'm actually just taking this LA Girl Pro Concealer, and I'm actually just going to take that and very lightly carve out my eyebrows. Very lightly. I don't like to do this too much, but just mainly the tail end, just to add a little bit of something there and a little bit of highlight, and it just makes them look more crisp. And just blending out that line of demarcation. Now I'm going in with my all-time favorite brow pencil. This is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I like lost the lid for the bottom and the top, but this is in the shade Black. I like this because, honestly, it's gonna sound weird why I like this, but I like this because it's a very dry formula. And what I mean by that is it's not very waxy, so it's just very easy to create those strokes without it dragging. So I've already done one eyebrow here, so I'm just gonna show you guys the other side really quick. So I just like to make little hair-like strokes. Most of the time I start at the bottom, but I'm pretty much just going around and filling in any sparse or bald areas that I want more hair. And especially at my tail, I don't have very much hair there nowadays. It's weird, I used to have a lot, but I feel like as I've gotten older, it's just really thinned out. I honestly don't even pluck that area that much, so I don't know why it started doing that to me, but yeah. And then I just kind of take my spoolie and lightly brush through it, and that is how I do my brows. And of course they're uneven because they never look the same, so excuse that, but Don't you just love that about humans? We aren't perfect, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going in with this Milani Baked Powder Blush. And honestly, I use this kind of as a blush topper because you can see it's very, very luminous. This is in the color Bella Bellini, and I think this is one of their newer flavors. This is one of their newer shades. It's like a pink shade, but it has like a gold reflect to it. So I like to take some of that and I will pop it on top of the blush that we used before. And I like this because it makes it so that I don't have to use a highlighter at all, which anytime I can get out of an extra step, I'm gonna take it, okay? And sometimes I'll even use this on its own. It actually has really good color payoff, so I recommend her. All I'm gonna do now is actually take this e.l.f. No Budge retractable eyeliner pencil, and this is in the color Coffee. Lately, what I've been liking to do is actually line my under eyes with this, but very lightly. So I like to start on the outer part, really close to where my eyelashes are. Pretty much go on my eyelashes, if you will, just to make them look thicker, just to add like a little more definition to my eyes. So you can see the difference in how that made my eyes stand out a little bit more, because obviously I have brown eyes, so you wanna make your brown eyes pop, right? This is how you do so. Doing the same thing on the other eye. And some days I will add a little bit more than others. Like some days I'm really feeling it, so I'll add a little bit extra. But today I'm not adding too much since I'm not going anywhere for anybody to see me. So you can see how that just added a little bit something extra to my eyes without going overboard. And I really, really like it. Then what I'm gonna do is take this LA Girl Intense Day Auto Liner. And this is in the shade Keep It Spicy. I am just going to line my lips with that. Sometimes I like to overline just a tiny bit because I do have very tiny lips, just to give them a little bit more shape and definition. So like that. And I like to go over that with this Fenty Gloss Bomb Lip Cream, and this is in the shade Fenty Glow. And I love these because it's not just like a gloss, it's literally, like it says, it's like a cream. So it just makes your lips look very, very juicy, and it adds some extra color to them. So like that. Lastly, all I'm gonna do is take that NYX spray again and spray my face. And that, folks, is pretty much it for my everyday makeup routine. Really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope some of this was helpful to you. I hope you found maybe some new products that you want to try. I absolutely love everything I used today, and I'm obsessed, clearly. If you guys enjoyed this video, please, 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 please don't forget to give it a thumbs up down below. It really helps me out and helps recommend my videos to others. And if you want to, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way we can be friends and you can stay connected and see more videos like this from me. Also, if you'd like to, go ahead and hit that bell so that you know anytime I upload and never miss a video. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. Bitch, I'm humbling, keep mumbling. I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing. You've got nothing.